if your husband does not find his purpose, right? What happens is he's going to make you the purpose. And you do not want that. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be your husband's purpose. Why? Because now you have a burden on you that you as a woman are not designed to carry. Because now he's going to be tuned into your my wife, you know, her emotions are all over the place. Why is my wife not doing X? Why is my wife not saying? Now all of a sudden his world revolves around you, and now all the focus is on you and what you're doing as a wife.
And then you can't anchor into that.
You can't anchor into that. No. Yeah. So now your husband's attitude and direction and purpose in life is based off of what the wife does. And that's misery. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you as a wife and him as a husband are two flawed systems that just, you're going to let each other down constantly, right? And so you don't want that being purpose. And so I think it's very important as a wife. Now, you might disagree, whatever. However, I do think if you're a wife, it's very important that you help your husband find that purpose and come alongside them and help them build and grow that purpose.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Married with Mugicas podcast. We are so excited that you're here. We are Richard and Hailey Mugica. We have been married for 12 years. We have 4 kids. We run a home-based business. We homeschool. We're very beginner homesteaders.
Yes.
Lots of fun home things.
All the good stuff.
We started this podcast over a year ago now. We're over a year old. And we just started this because we love marriage and we want to see marriages thrive. We want to see couples enjoy their marriages. And that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
It was actually our 10-year anniversary. We were in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, we should start a marriage podcast because this is just something that we love so much. And then life got busy. We kind of put it on the back burner. Started it at about year 12.
Wait, didn't we try to start something before?
We did. I think we recorded like 2 or 3 episodes and then business got really busy. So we're like, oh, not right now.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah. Did you give the slogan of the show?
Oh, no.
Oh, man. You got to give the slogan.
Our slogan here on this show is building a marriage you love coming home to.
That's right. Like it.
It's a good one.
Cool.
How's everything going for you?
It's going good. Yeah. Good day. Sun shining, kind of, in California. A little bit colder for us. Yeah. But no, life is good. Life is good. Nice. How about you?
Life's good. Why don't you take off the hat and show the people
what they want to see?
Yeah, show them what they want to see. If you guys will remember, Richard shaved his head and was bald, and he's decided to grow it back.
I don't know if you can.
We've got hair again.
Yeah, it's got the hair. It's coming in. And we're using Rogaine.
Those that are live with us will know, but everyone else maybe wouldn't know that we actually have not recorded for 2 weeks. Because our babysitter was out of town. She was on a really nice little vacation with her mom. And so we had a kind of 2-week break and we're a little rusty, but we're getting back
now to it. I'm feeling fresh. I don't know about
feeling
you.
Good?
You're feeling rusty. I'm feeling fresh.
I feel good. I feel
revived. Ready to go.
I feel good.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Yeah. We got Ishmael in the house.
Yep. Ishmael. I should have asked you guys this beforehand. The last episode we recorded.
Yeah, well, it was our story is the one that we just
released. And then what's the last one? There's one more.
The one after the story is the second story.
This is the second story.
Yeah,
okay. I don't know.
Second story.
We recorded one more. And then today we're going to be talking about kind of a carousel that we did. A lot of my inspiration for these episodes comes from carousels that attract a lot of conversation. And I think those are really fun.
Gets the crowd going.
Yes. And then, it's a carousel. It takes 60 seconds to read. So you can't really flesh out the entire idea in one carousel. So the ones that really bring up a lot of conversation, I'm like, let's dedicate an hour to this thing because I think it needs more fleshing out.
Yeah. My favorite are the people that they see the headline or the first slide.
And you can tell they didn't slide through. And
yeah. But you know what? It's so true because I'm a headline warrior too. I'll go on Google and first thing that comes up is oh, did you hear this administration did X? And it's I just read it and I send it to my buddy. Yeah. Hey man, did you read this? I didn't even read it.
Yeah, I didn't even read it. But that happens a lot. So the carousel that I'm talking about today, it says, God gave husbands one command before he gave them a wife. The church reversed the order, and both of them have been paying for it ever since. So basically, the gist of the carousel was that God gave men work before he gave them a wife.
Yeah.
And a lot of people on this carousel loved it. And a lot of people were very offended, saying that we were giving men excuses to not prioritize their wives, to neglect their wives. How could we?
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to talk about.
Jeez. Yeah. A lot of back and forth on that one. Some people loved it. Some people didn't like it, which I understand.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. But yes, this is the topic today. So how are we going to?
Well, and I think if you read it that way, that we were saying, hey, your work should be your number one priority over your family. Yeah. I'd be offended by that because I don't think that that's true. Right. So that's not necessarily what we were saying, but that definitely was how some people perceived what we were saying. So I wanted to kind of better articulate what we meant and what that looks like in real life. So you as a man,
both people can abuse it, so to speak.
Correct. But you as a man, as you are the leader of our family, it is your job and your responsibility to create the direction for our family. Right. How does that look in your real life? As far as like, you're a man with a goal, with a vision, with a mission, with a passion.
Yeah.
But you also love and prioritize your family. How does that work?
How does that work? Well, I think here's the thing. For a man in particular, it's very important to, for females and men, of course, right? Not just man, but is to have a purpose, right? And early on in our marriage, I didn't have much of a sense of purpose, right? I was kind of just winging it. I was going through the motions. And because I was going through the motions in my work and my vision and my purpose, I was also going through the motions in kind of our marriage, right? It was kind of hand in hand. And then as soon as I started developing more of a sense of purpose for what I wanted to do in life and something that I wanted to create in life, and I got up and I was more excited and I was more passionate, all of a sudden that also carried out into our marriage, right? And so your original question was what?
So like as a man, when it's your responsibility to have a vision, have a passion, have a direction for your family.
Yeah.
How do you
that's
do
what
that?
I was going to say. That's what I say. They're one and the same. They're one and the same. A man with a purpose will be a better man with his wife. A man that has a sense of purpose will be a better, will not have these, has a less likely chance of having like these devastating follies, right? Because if you have no purpose, all of a sudden you start like digging holes in your life, you know, looking for purpose. And sometimes that purpose can be something that you didn't expect. Just, you know, for example, you get into sex addictions, alcohol addictions, drug abuse, gambling, you know, all these things that you try to fill a void in your life because you have like the sense of directionlessness. That's a word. I don't even know if that's a word. So that would be my answer, that as soon as I was able to have a sense of vision and purpose, I was actually a better husband. And you could probably attest to that, because I remember you saying the phrases of, oh, wow, it's like, man, Rich is so alive. You know, it just seems like he's more vibrant. He's more energetic. He's happier, you know, however you want to describe these terms. But I remember you saying that stuff, and it was true. It was, you know, as soon as I had something to latch onto and go after and say, oh my gosh, like I really enjoy this and I want to build this, I was better all around.
Yeah. And I can just say, as your wife, right, living through these two different kind of extremes with you, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot on the show, and I really, really believe this, that all women are called to respect their husbands.
Yeah.
Right? But that was so much easier, and there was so much more for me to respect when you had this vision and this mission and this passion and this direction for our family. So my respect for you went way up, even though I was called to still respect you when you were over here. And I think that I did. It was a lot easier, and there was more to respect on this side. And then also your leadership for our family, I just felt so much more comfortable and so much more secure and so much more confident to follow your leadership once I saw there was a direction. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of women can almost kind of panic and think, oh, but if he prioritizes his work over me, then I'm going to be neglected. And it actually works the opposite.
It works the opposite.
And I understand there are men that maybe do have more of a bend towards workaholicism.
That is a real thing.
It is a real thing. And I think it's I think it's a bigger problem. I think that, you know, we could probably talk about this for a whole hour, but I think for some reason, men that do that, women aren't going to like this, but there's something about being home that they don't like. There's something about the environment that you've created in your marriage that they're trying to get away from.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you as a wife can do a good job creating the environment of your home, loving your husband, respecting your husband, he's not going to be trying to get away all the time.
Yeah.
And also if you can affirm him, appreciate him, tell him that you notice the work that he's doing, tell him that you see him.
Yeah.
He's not going to be looking for so much external validation unless he's a very, very broken person, which is possible. But
yeah,
just in my experience, once you found this passion and this drive, it wasn't like I was neglected. It was like our whole marriage, our whole family, you as a man came to life, if that makes sense.
And I've gone on to hear that with multiple spouses that have gotten involved in the business, and like where they were doing something else, a job or whatever it was. And as soon as they came to work in our company and had a sense of purpose, the wife was like, man, I don't know. My husband just seems different. You know, things are just same type of conversations, right? He's a little bit more energetic. He's a little bit not happier with the kids. He's just easier to be around. All these things. And to your point, I think what you said is actually very true. If you think about what happens when somebody goes to work, or, you know, you have this sense of purpose in your life, when you live in your sense of purpose as a man, you go to work, you do your thing. Generally, people have purpose in stuff they're good at. So if you think about that, a man has a sense of purpose in his life. He's good at it. That's how he gets purpose from it. He feels like he's in his calling. Because he's good at it, he gets recognition for it. And everybody thinks he's great, right? Like, oh my gosh, you're so good at whatever, you know, whatever that thing is that you are doing as a man. So you're getting so much validation. And then that draws you more to that, right? And then to your point, it's like if you come home and you're not getting that validation.
And home's the failure
and
factory.
Hailey's like, oh, well, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong. You know, all humans work off of a reward-based system. We're not very different than, you know, animals. How do you train an animal to do good? Every time they do something good, what do they give them? They give them a treat, and then they give them another treat. And there was a study done where there was dogs, and what they would do is they would ring a bell, and as soon as they rang the bell, they would feed the dog, right? So then they would keep doing it. Ring the bell, feed the dog. Ring the bell, feed the dog.
It's like that episode of The Office. Where every time the computer chimes, they give him a Altoid.
It's your conditioning human behavior, right? And then what they did is they just rang the bell, no food. The dog started salivating just nonstop. Why? Because he associated the bell with food. And there's no difference than you and your wife when you get home. If every time your husband gets home and he hears X and he has this emotion of, oh my gosh, what is she going to say? What did I do wrong this time? It's that thing of home that was supposed to represent love and peace and strength now represents reprimand and, oh my gosh, and low, you know, bad feelings.
Yeah.
And as soon as you create that environment in your house, again, all humans work off of a reward-based system. You do more of what you were rewarded to do. And you as a wife, you cultivated that for sure in my marriage, or in our marriage. It's like you saw something that I did well, you rewarded it. And then what was I more likely to do it? I'm going to do it again because I'm going to get rewarded for doing that. So if you find your husband, you're reprimanding him more than you're rewarding him, I would say reprimanding works in the short term, rewarding works in the long term. And so you can tell somebody, for example, in our organization, right? I can tell John, you're doing a horrible job. John, you're doing a horrible job. And that might motivate him in the very short term to do a little bit better, but not nearly as effective of, hey, John, you know what? Today you did this thing great, dude. Like, that was an amazing job, John. And then in fact, I go in front of all his other employees and be like, guys, today John did this incredible thing. Let's give him let's give him applause for that, right? What is John more likely to do tomorrow? He's more likely to do that same behavior again because he's just getting constantly rewarded for it, not negative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if you can bring that energy into your home, into everything you do, it's powerful.
Yeah. And I think women hear that and they get really defensive and they get really upset, right? And they're like, but you don't understand because he comes home and he doesn't see anything that has to be done and he doesn't help me at all. And like, he deserves it. Like how am I going to get help if I don't like treat him like a child, right? Which whatever. And that's when you kind of have to ask yourself in your marriage, like, okay, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to make that choice. You can be right all you want. Yes, he doesn't load the dishwasher right. Like, okay, fine. Let's just park our boat there. But also why? You know what I mean? Like, find something else he does really well. Find something like for us, you're not great at cleaning the kitchen after dinner, right? But you can go give the kids a bath. And okay, that's really helpful. You can do that and I'll clean up the kitchen or whatever. Just find something else that they can do that is still helpful to you, but is not a failure factory. Yeah. And that was one of the things that a piece of advice I got really early in our marriage that I just like really clung to. And I don't do it perfectly, but it's something that I've always been aware of is make the husband needs to make the wife sad to see him go. And the wife needs to make the husband happy to come home.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if you could do that, your marriage will be fine.
Yeah. Of course.
Is your home a home that your husband wants to come home to? If that makes sense. But so one of the criticisms we got on this carousel was that we were referencing Genesis, right? So in this carousel, we're referencing creation. And when God created Adam, he gave Adam a job to do. He gave Adam work.
Yeah. And
then he created Eve. So he didn't create Eve to fulfill Adam, to finish him because he wasn't complete on it. Well, he didn't create Adam for Eve. He created Eve to help Adam. He gave Adam the purpose first. So that's our premise, right? That's what we're looking at. Now, people, the criticism we got from that is that, well, you're using this verse to talk, but you're ignoring the rest of the Bible.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
And of course, we never want to ignore the rest of the Bible. There are callings on men to provide for their families, to protect their families, to love your wife like Christ loved the church, right? These are real callings and we're still going to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
But the reason I think it's so important, especially as a married couple, to acknowledge the first 2 chapters of Genesis is this is the only 2 chapters in the whole of the Bible that we have a picture of God's perfect creation before the fall.
That's right.
It's the only picture we have. Yeah. Everything from Genesis 3:6 after that is post-fall, living in a post-fallen world, right? These are the only 2 chapters we have of how God intended creation to be.
That's right.
So it's really, really, really important to look at because this is the perfect creation of man, of woman, and of marriage and of family. So that's why I think it's really important to sit and park our boat here for a minute and not just move on to, well, oh yeah, but what does it say in Timothy? It's like, no, we're gonna study this because this matters.
Yeah.
So within that, I'm sorry, there was a quote that I need to find.
A quote that somebody gave us?
Okay, it says God gave Adam a job before he gave him a wife, and that order might matter more than you think. Marriage doesn't create purpose; it reveals and multiplies it. So, for a man is okay. So Eve was created to support Adam, right? So as a wife, I came into our marriage with like, okay, my purpose in life, and look at this is just me from the time I was a very, very little girl. I knew I wanted to be a wife and I wanted to be a mom. That was it for me. Holy
grail.
So for me, getting married was kind of revealing my purpose because I was going to be a wife and I was going to be a mom.
Yeah.
That's not revealing the purpose for a man, right? The purpose was given to Adam way before Eve was. So, okay. And this is what Miles Monroe was talking about, how any good builder, when he builds, he builds the foundation first.
That's right.
And you can't build the top before you build the foundation. And that's why God created Adam first. He's the foundation of the family. Of the marriage, so much of the family and of the marriage rides on the man and on him finding his purpose and his mission for his family.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
So how do you go about finding a mission? Okay. I'm talking too much, but I have one other thought.
No, it's good. It's good.
Because I really tell me your thoughts on this. You might disagree. I don't think for a man, the mission or the purpose or the vision necessarily has to be business related necessarily.
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of time it probably is. But I think if you have a man who just like kind of sits on the couch and he drinks his beer and he watches his football game and he yells at the TV and there's no mission, there's no drive, there's no passion there. But you can also have a man who's just really, really passionate and his his mission and his vision is like, I'm going to raise these children to be leaders and thought leaders in our world. And I'm like, that can be his vision too. And then he can be really, really intentional with pouring into his family. But he's got to have a direction. You know, like you can't just be the couch potato that does nothing and think, oh, I provided for my family, so my job's done. It's like your job's not done. Your mission can also be here.
Yeah, for sure.
What are your thoughts on that, though? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I think, you know, here's what I've discovered in my life, just from manhood, is that I had unique giftings that I just was not using. And it's because I didn't even know I had these gifts, right? And as soon as I started exploring other parts of the workplace, I was a truck driver. I was doing, I was working 9 to 5 and shipping and receiving and doing clerking. And it just didn't sit well with my soul. Well, it turns out that was not my gifting. That was not how God had created me. And as soon as I started exploring other ways to make money, I realized, wait a minute, you know what? Actually, one of my superpowers or one of my gifts is communicating with people. And I started realizing, like, wait a minute, dude, I don't know why. I don't know how, but God gave me this gift to gain people's trust very fast. And he gave me this gift to, as I'm speaking to people, to influence them, right? And to get them to not see eye to eye, but to open their minds to different perspectives and maybe what's possible for their life. And I was an encourager and all these things I started finding out. I'm like, dude, I do these things naturally easy, where a lot of people, they would say, Rich, how do you do that? Like, how do you get people to like trust you so fast and like you so fast? I'm like, dude, I don't know. That's how God built me. It's just one of my superpowers. And so because of that, the reason why I bring this up is because every man has a gift, every one of them, right? That for somebody else, it seems like work, but for you, it seems like play because it just comes to you so naturally. And to me, when you can find that as a man of like, dude, what do I do so well that is so easy for me that would take other people years to develop? And it's like, there's my gift. And then in that gift, you pursue that gift relentlessly. And all of a sudden you might say, oh, that's my purpose. But a lot of people are going to say, hey, well, you find your purpose. I believe you choose your purpose as a man. You know, it's like, oh, I just need to find my purpose. It's like, no, dude, you choose your purpose and you choose it based off of how God gifted you. Right. And I truly believe that. And so what was your question? Your question was what?
I think it was like, did I ask, how do you find your purpose? I can't remember what I asked now.
I don't know exactly what you asked. But with that being said, that's how I look at it. You know, life opened up to me because here's the alternative. If your husband does not find his purpose, right? What happens is he's going to make you the purpose, and you do not want that. You don't want to be your husband's purpose. Why? Because now you have a burden on you that you as a woman are not designed to carry, because now he's going to be tuned into your my wife, you know, her emotions are all over the place. Why is my wife not doing X? Why is my wife not saying? Now all of a sudden his world revolves around you, and now all the focus is on you and what you're doing as a wife. And then
you can't anchor into that.
You can't anchor into that. No. Yeah. So now your husband's attitude and direction and purpose in life is based off of what the wife does. And that's misery. Why? Because you as a wife and him as a husband are two flawed systems that just you're going to let each other down constantly, right? And so you don't want that being purpose. And so I think it's very important as a wife. Now you might disagree, whatever. However, I do think if you're a wife, it's very important that you help your husband find that purpose and come alongside them and help them build and grow that purpose. Why? Because as soon as he does, he becomes a better man. And a better man has a better marriage, treats his kids better, provides better, does all the things better. And you as a wife, because you are the helper, you come alongside him and you can truly help him discover that and build that.
Yeah.
You know?
And this whole thought was really, really profoundly impactful for me in how I perceived you and how I perceived our marriage. Because as a woman, if I'm looking at things as a woman, right?
Yeah.
When a man is prioritizing his work, not necessarily over his family, but it has a high priority in his life, I could kind of take that personally and get offended by that. And oh my gosh, I can't believe you'd rather be at work than go to horseback riding with me and the kids today. Like, don't you want to spend time with us? Don't you want to be with your family?
Yeah.
And once I heard this message, and really the really excellent teacher on this topic is Dr. Miles Monroe.
He's old school, by the way.
He's old school. He's no longer with us, but
great.
It's Miles, Myles Monroe is Munroe. And so you can
profound guy.
You can still get a lot of his sermons and stuff on YouTube.
Profound.
But he's really excellent in like the dichotomy of male and female.
Yes.
And he was the one who really, like, I was the first to hear this idea from. And once I realized, like, work wasn't part of the curse for men. Work is part of the mission for men. And then I stopped taking it personally that you wanted to be at work instead of with your family. I think our whole relationship changed at that point.
Interesting.
Yeah. It really helped me to not get offended because you're just different from me. Where I can be with our children all day and that is my mission and I am completely fulfilled in that. You are not. And that's not a diss to me or to the kids. It's just part of how men are created.
They're wired. I mean? Yeah, they're wired for that.
And once I accepted that and you really leaned into your calling and leaned into your passion, you were so much more available to us. It's a weird thing. It doesn't really sound like it makes sense. It's just how it worked out.
Even way more probably emotionally available.
Way more. And because you were so much more fulfilled and so much more satisfied and so much more confident, really, it was like a confidence thing for you.
Yeah.
You were just so much better to be around when we did get you. Yeah. And I feel like you have so much to pour into our children now because you are so smart and you've done so much that it's just different.
Yeah. It is a dichotomy.
But men are not like women. And that's what I think women need to understand is they're not.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the man you want when if he's prioritizing your family. You know, if he's prioritizing your family and work is not on the list too. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think Live Free, what's his name?
Josh Howerton.
Josh Howerton says it best. The man is first oriented towards his work. The wife is first oriented towards the man. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's just a good way of looking at it. It's like the man's first orientation is going to be towards his purpose and his work. The wife's first orientation should be towards the man and helping him, right? So it's like, if you look at it from that standpoint, it's not saying that the man doesn't love the wife or wants to be with the wife. It's just that his first orientation is towards that. It's tricky though, because, you don't want to be the man out there saving the world and leaving your family to the dust.
And that happens too.
And that happens too. So you can definitely take it way too far. And so there is a balance.
Right. And I would think in our society, now this is just an assumption, I haven't done any research on this, so I could be totally wrong. But I would think that we have a bigger problem with men not working than we do with men working too much. I would assume. But what would you say? So most of this has been geared one way. What would you say to the men who maybe work too much and don't prioritize their family enough? How do you find that balance on that end?
Well,
Okay, and I will also say before I'll let you think for a second so you can get your thoughts together while I just share this little thing. Is I think a lot of times, and we've seen this personally, where you have men who are using work as like a shield, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm working so much," when really they're not working. They actually are talking to their side piece, or they're actually looking at pornography, right? Work is like this umbrella that this is the socially acceptable thing that I can say that I'm doing when really that's not what they're doing. So if you have a husband who's saying he's always working, like maybe he's not, I don't know. But what are your thoughts on the men who maybe work too much and don't prioritize the family enough? How would you?
Yeah. Well, we've said this before, life is seasons. And so there's seasons where you have to do what you got to do. And that might be working more than you normally are used to. But to your point, if you look at studies across the board, the average worker is in the office 8 hours a day, right? 9 to 5 or whatever it is. But study after study continually shows that actual work hours, people actually doing work on the job is around like 3 hours, right? So what does that mean they're doing the rest of the day? Like to your point, they're just doing a bunch of nonsense and calling it work. And so, but you have to ask yourself why. Why do I do that, right? Why am I filling my time with nonsense? Well, to your point, it could be the bigger picture of, well, I just don't want to go back to my home. I don't enjoy spending time with my wife. I don't enjoy being in the home, right? And if that is the truth, which that is something that you have to take a good hard look at. Because here's the thing. Guess what? I love being home. I love being with my wife. I love what that does for me. So what does that mean? It means I want to do it more. So, why do men work so much? Again, they're searching for something.
Okay, well, let me go down that direction then for a second, because as a woman, if I heard that, I would kind of more come down on the women, like, hey, why haven't you created an environment that your husband wants to be a part of, right? But that's because I'm coming from a woman's perspective. But as a man, for you, obviously they co-create their life together. Whatever the environment is in their home, it's co-created. No one side is creating that more than the other. Yeah. So what would you tell the men who are saying, hey, I just don't really like being home? What do they have to do? How can they change so that their home is a place they want to be? What's the first step a man can take?
Well, I just know this from personal experience. We've talked about this so much. Life is a journey of getting better as a human. And the better you are as a human, the better that you're going to show up for your family, your kids, your wife, and everything. The only person you can change is you. And you are the only one that has control over your life. And so with that being said, I was a man starting out, as you know, that had no personal responsibility in my life. I had no drive, ambition in my life. I was swayed by the wind, right? It was like if the wind was going north, I was going north. If the wind was going west, I was going west. And it's because I had I didn't have any self-awareness of where I was at in life, And so something that truly helped me as a man, and as you know this, was just personal development, learning about acquiring skills, right? How to think better, how to learn myself. What am I good at? What am I bad at? What are my blind spots? What are my weaknesses? What are the things that I need to change as a man? And little by little, I got better, right? I got better as a human. Mm-hmm. And as I got better as a human, I was able to be better in the marriage, And so if you're a man and that is your story, that is the first place that I would look, because I'm just telling you what I did that worked for me, countless hours. I mean, this, we would drive, my car became my university. Something that frustrates me tremendously is if I see guys, husbands, and they're in their car and they're like blasting music. I'm like, dude, that's
missing
cool.
An opportunity.
You're missing an opportunity though. Like turn your car into a university, learn in that car, right? Learn about how do you adopt a better positive mindset? How do you control your emotions? How do you go and build that business or be a better person in your job and add more value? Like, don't make no mistake about it. Your car is the greatest learning spot on earth. Why do I know this? Because I turned it into that. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I will tell you this, my car was way better than college. I went to college.
Learned more at Chevy University.
I learned way more than Chevy University than APU. Mm-hmm. And I would play things on repeat over. I couldn't wait to get in my car because I was like, dude, what am I going to learn today that I can apply?
Yeah.
Right. And then to this day, what do I want to do? I want to learn. I'm a learning machine. I want to I don't know nearly enough. I need to learn more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that's my mindset. And if you're a dude, and I think if you adopt that mindset of I need to get better every day. Like, who cares what you did yesterday? But dude, I learned I did an hour of learning yesterday. That's great. Another hour today, another hour tomorrow, another one after that. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You need to get better.
And I can tell you as a wife, that is the sexiest thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It produces the most confidence in me to hear, for you to say, I don't know enough. I know nothing. I need to go learn more. That is so much humility and so much Cause like, we know other people that like will go, what is that? Genius test?
Oh, IQ or
I don't know. But they want to tell you how smart they are. Like, I don't want to hear that because you know nothing. Like none of us know anything. No. So like, I just want to hear that you are hungry to learn. And once I saw that in you, I was like, okay, this is a guy I can like get behind. This is a man I can like really anchor myself to, because this is like,
you could live a million lives and not know enough.
But isn't that interesting how like you think when you're telling people how much you know, that's what's going to give people confidence, but it's not. It's when you're willing to admit that you don't know anything, that's what gives people confidence.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Which by the way, this is why we do what we do, right? This is why we do the podcast, because we're putting out content, but guess what? That content speaks to us. I've learned ton just doing content, right? Because what am I doing? You're getting into the Bible, you're reading the verses. You're like, oh my gosh, like this verse, I didn't even realize.
On our way here, we were listening to a Miles Monroe sermon. That's what we listened to on the way here.
Yeah. And we both adopted that. It's like, just learn. We got to learn. We got to like learn. How do you become a better spouse? How do you become a better parent? How do you raise godly children? How do you build a business? How do you become a better worker? You don't know these things. You have to learn. You have to study, it's like, and so to your point, like if you're a dude, man, like that's where you start.
Yeah. And that's another thing I would really want to encourage men with is that like I think a lot of women can feel abandoned or neglected when your purpose and your passion is just at work and then they're left out of it. So I would really encourage men to like bring your wife and bring your children along with you. And that doesn't always mean that you can take them to work. You might have a boss that says, hey, they can't be here, whatever. But that's not even what I mean. What I mean is like, as you're growing, as you're reading these books, as you're getting these new ideas, share them with your wife. Ask her to read the book with you. Have these conversations with her, like grow with her, and then teach these things to your children, right? Like have these conversations with your kids about investing and what do we choose to invest in? And these are the different modes of investing. And this is what I choose to do. And this is the return you can get. And this is like,
yeah, the kids already know about cash flow. It's like, dude, you put the money in investments, the investments pay you. Your job is not how you want to get paid. You want to get paid through your investment. It's like they're learning this stuff now. They have to learn the game.
And you get to bring us along with you. So we feel like we're a part of it, even though we don't run the business with you.
Yeah. Well, Riker, so our son, he's already read like the story of Walt Disney and Elon Musk and Jobs. Now these are snippets of their lives, but like Walt Disney and Steve Jobs.
His favorite was the Adidas guy. I can't remember. Adidas.
The Adidas. The guy that created Adidas, and then his brother broke off and created Puma.
Yeah, that's right. Riker can tell you that.
He was telling. But it's just, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's one way I would really encourage men to get your family on board is just bring them along. Share it. Like, don't have these conversations with these people at work and leave your family out of it. Have them with your family and really take on that responsibility. Yeah.
So that's another concept that really helped you and I in this, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, you got to have balance, right? You work for 8 hours and then you spend time with your wife for an hour and then you have your kid time for an hour and everything sounds logical. It's like, balance, teeter totter. Like I put a little bit of time here, I put a little time. But what the concept that helped us was work-life integration, right? Instead of just looking at everything as like you're trying to balance this whole thing, which is impossible. It's just make everything one. It's like, if I do my work, let's bring my kids along with the work if I can and show them what I do in the work and bring my wife along with the work, right? If I'm traveling, you just bring the kids if you can. It's like, it's not like, oh, I'm over here at one stage and I'm over here at another stage. It's like,
because if you're trying to balance it, the scale's going to be off balance somewhere and then you're going to be upset, right? Because you spent 8 hours here and we only get you for 4. So look at the scale's off balance. Yeah. It's like, you can't balance that.
You can't balance it.
But you can integrate. And that was the word that we always just chose to focus on.
Yeah. Work-life integration. Yeah. And here's another thing too for men. I was actually just talking to a buddy here at the gym and we were talking about work and life and he's a younger dude and I kind of look at it as a mentorship type of role or whatnot. But because he's a guy that is very all over the place, like in terms of
a lot of ideas.
He's the idea guy, right? He's got this idea. He's got that idea. He's doing this one thing. Next thing he's like, hey, Rich, what do you think about this? I'm about to partner with this guy. Hey, this guy, I'm about to go build some stuff over here. And he just can't stick to anything. And we were just having a conversation. And I said, hey, dude, look, just out of personal experience, where I have the most misery as a man, all right? The most misery in my life is when I'm undecided, when I can't make a freaking decision, right? I have this war going on in my head of like, well, I want to go do this thing, but I also want to go do this thing. And every day I'm battling, like, what do I do? You know, am I going to quit the job and go all in on this? Or am I not going to do that? Am I going to start saving and investing here? Am I going to open this Roth IRA? It's like, you're all over the freaking place. As soon as I, as a man, just said, dude, this is what I'm going to do. This is the decision. I'm moving forward. I'm doing it. Right. And just didn't look back. That's when I've had the most clarity ever in my life and the most satisfaction in my life. To this day, I have the most satisfaction. I am the most miserable when I'm undecided. And so I say that as just husbands out there, because I know how many husbands right now are undecided. They have so many things moving through their head and they don't know what to do. But the key is not knowing what to do. The key is just doing it. It's just, you just make the call. And then my mentor told me is like, you just course correct. Rich, here's the thing. Unless you're going to die or you're going to like, if you made the wrong decision, just change the decision. Like you can, and that's just the reality. Like there's a lot of guys right now that are maybe stuck in a profession, a job, whatever. And they're like, I don't like it, but I can't change it. Well, first of all, that's a lie. You can change it, right? And here's the thing that you have to think of. Let's just say you're a dude and you feel like you have no passion, purpose in what you're doing now. Number one, it's like, can you just change that perception first? First things first. Can you just change the perception of what you're doing now to find more passion and purpose in it, right? If you can't, then you need to change it because you're always going to be living a subpar life because you're miserable as a man and you feel like you're not doing what you should be doing. And so you're not making a decision. And so worst case scenario is you change the job, you quit the thing, you stop doing what you're doing to pursue what it is that you want to do. Worst case scenario, you can always go back to what you're doing. You can always go back to that, right? It's going to be there. It's not like the job's going to leave. It's not like your skill set's going to ever go away. You have that skill. You can do that job again, but you just got to make the decision. And that's the hardest part. And that's also the most miserable part as a guy. And guess what? You're going to carry that misery into your marriage. You're going to carry that into your conversations. You're going to carry that into the demeanor with your kids. You're going to carry that into everything you do in life. And so I went on a rant, but the point is this, is you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it'll be freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have one last thought that I wanted to kind of touch on, and that is that I really, really believe that masculinity in general is such a gift to the world. And I think it's something that the world needs more of.
Yeah.
But it's also something that's been very villainized in our world over the last decade or so. And it's something like that a lot of women have been told, hey, this is dangerous. This is bad. This is scary. This is, and I think that was a very intentional move. And I think that the world needs more masculinity. And so I'd really encourage you as a wife to like lean into that with your husband. Stop trying to perceive him from your lens of femininity.
Yeah.
And like lean into the masculine, and also do that with your sons. Like, I think it's so, so important that we have more of that in the world, not less. And I think the world will be a much better place if we can do that. And so like one thing I always tell my boys, okay, I remember, probably 10 years ago, there was this, I'm going to just call it a concept. It was a post on social media, but it kind of took off and like really got legs, where it was this woman and she had a little boy in the car seat. I can still see the picture in my head. He's a little boy and he's wearing sparkly shoes. And her whole post was about how she lets him choose what shoes he wants to wear. And if he wants to wear the sparkly shoes, he can wear the sparkly shoes, right? And this like took off like wildfire, where women were like, yeah, that, whatever. I never understood it, but that was a thing. I think that was an attack. I really do. And I think it really wormed itself into a lot of women's heads and I think it was just so dangerous. And so, and this still takes place today, right? Where if we have preteen boys and you hear a lot of like the femboy talk, right? Like, oh, you're a femboy. And I as soon as I started hearing my sons use that word, I was like, no. And so, I didn't just squash the word. I told them, I said, boys, your masculinity is such a gift to the world, and it is such a threat to the evil that is the power in the world, right?
Power, yep.
We're Christians, right?
Yeah.
The ruler of this world is Satan, and that can sound crazy and that can sound weird, and that's okay, but he's the ruler of this world. And masculinity is such a threat to that kingdom that it's been trying to squash it for a really long time. And so your masculinity is a gift. You are going to live in that. You're going to lean into that. And that is what we're going to like really build up in you, because the world needs more of it. So lean into it with your husband, lean into it with your sons. Don't try to squash it. Don't try to make it look like your femininity, because the two are so valuable and the two are so important. You don't want to you don't have to squash one to raise up the other. The two work really well together.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way of putting it.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you look at marriage and God lays out the playbook, right? He's got the first marriage in there. He shows you how the first marriage started, how he designed the whole thing, what each spouse brings to the table, how they're supposed to communicate with each other. The playbook's written out, right? Why is it that it's so hard to follow it, right? Why is it that marriage is constantly under attack? You know, why? Well, it's because that is the one vehicle that starts everything else in this world, right? You get married, and what do? You have kids.
Start a family.
You start a family. And then what does that family go on to do? They go out into the workforce, society, and then they start their own family. And I mean, that's where everything starts. And it's like, if you don't think that you're constantly under attack, always, your marriage, that is the truth, because that's where everything starts. And it's like, if you can just tear down that one brick at a time, the enemy just knows, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all he has to do. Tear the marriage apart. Everything else goes with it. And it's that serious.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's like, in terms of our, married with the Mugicas, we try to just do it on a biblical foundation, because it's like, dude, if you can just stick to the word of God, and you can stick to the playbook, and you can stick to the Bible, the enemy will attack, and the winds will blow, and the storms will come, and everything's going to be against you, but you're going to have a solid foundation to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
And that solid foundation is what you need.
Yeah. Well, even before the marriage, the whole marriage was built on the dichotomy of male and female, right? And that's why we have this like weird androgynous, where female isn't good anymore because it's too soft and too gentle, and masculine's not good anymore because it's too hard and it's too strong. So we need to have this, like I always talk about, this boring androgynous straight line.
Yeah.
Where nobody's really anything. But like you're saying, the whole society is built on the marriage, but the marriage is built on male and female. Like, we need both. And we need both to lean into their full
potential,
their full thing.
The full thing. Yeah.
100%. So I really hope that this cleared that carousel up a little bit, or maybe cleared any confusion and didn't just cause more.
I know. They're like, well, we got a lot of questions.
I didn't know. But I hope it was helpful. It was something that I really want to talk about. There's nothing, and like, I love marriage, I love family, I love homeschooling, I love homesteading, I love all these things, but nothing gets me more excited to talk about than like masculine and feminine dichotomy. It's my favorite topic in the world. I don't know why. I've always loved it.
Yeah, it's tricky. There's no inferiority or
there's
less than or that type of language. It just rolls. And
yeah, I'm going to give you guys 3 books to go read if this is like a topic that interests you. Also, we talk about Wild at Heart all the time by John Eldridge. That's like the male version. Captivating is by John and Stacey Eldridge. That's the female version. And then Lisa Bevere just came out with a book called The Fight for Female.
Ooh, interesting.
If this is something that you guys love, also go read those 3 books. Excellent. Or if it's something you find confusing, you're intrigued by, you're like, man, I wish I loved it, but I don't. Maybe give those books a try.
Maybe give them a try. Change your life one book at a time.
So If you are live with us and you want to go ahead and throw out a question, I'm going to give you guys a minute or two to do that while we kind of wrap this up.
Yep. Something like, hey, Rich, how do you maintain such a great looking beard?
Yes.
Your beard stuff like that.
The best. Yeah. Go ahead and ask those questions. But as always, please like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends. You guys can follow us on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook.
Really, Instagram just is the best one.
If you want to talk to Rich and I specifically, Instagram's the only place to do that.
Insta, baby.
You guys can get the 7-day free prayer challenge or check out sparkcheckin.com
down
is
below.
the app that Rich and I created to help couples stay connected through all the different seasons of life. It's a practice that we do. Thanks so much.
All the things.
Share with your friends. All right.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.